Let's head out west, guys, West Coast, and we're going to discuss Norman Powell for the LA Clippers. The Clippers are in the top 4 in the West. They had a tough loss last night to Minnesota, but the bright spot in that game and pretty much the entire season for the Clippers has been Norman Powell. I mean, he's been sensational. Looking at his numbers here so far for the season, just under 14 points a game. So he's not one of those top 2 scorers off the bench, but he's definitely up there. And his efficiency marks are spectacular. 54 from the field, 43 from 3, 82 from the line. So he's been die for sure as a shooter. And particularly his corner 3-point shooting has been awesome. He's kind of picked up some of that slack that PJ has left on the table. PJ Tucker, he's kind of lost his magic from the corner. But here comes Norman Powell at 54% as a corner 3-point shooter. That's pretty much tops in the league when we're talking about efficiency. So, I mean, this guy hits over 1 out of every 2 3-pointers he takes from the corner. So that just kind of shows you what he's doing so far. Career high or near career high marks from every area, from the rim, from 2, from 3. He's a true 3-level scorer, and the Clippers have really kind of embraced that, especially when you have guys like Kawhi, guys like PG. As we saw last night, at a moment's notice, one of them can leave the lineup for a variety of reasons. They might just need a game off. They might have an injury, but he's been so good for them. Also wanted to highlight the fact that he's been really good at taking care of the ball and just leaning into what he does best. And Avi and I talked about this, Brett, before we went on the pod. The fact that he's really just been given the green light to be just an all-out scorer, don't worry about anything else, don't worry about setting up teammates and things like that. He can, but first and foremost, it's put the ball in the bucket. He's doing a great job of that. So career low in turnover percentage at 8.3%, career low in assist percentage and assist to usage rate. And those are numbers from cleaning the glass. Taking care of the ball, getting good shots for his team, and just kind of amplifying what the Clippers do so well offensively next to all those great stars like Harden, PG, and Kawhi.
I love watching Norman Powell on the Clippers. And I think the magic key here is I think Tyrone Lue kind of unlocked something here with the idea of less is more. All right, Norman Powell, we don't want you handling the ball so much. We don't want you to be forced to make too many creative decisions in terms of your passing. You have a good mid-ranger, but let's limit it. I think he's only 14% of his shots right now are coming from the mid-range, which is his the lowest in his career. He's not taking that many shots at the rim because as a driver, he can't quite get there. He doesn't have quite the same explosion as one of the guys we're going to talk about later. But, I mean, when you can shoot threes the way he's shooting it, I mean, why do anything else? 50% of his shots are coming from 3. As you said, his corner 3-point percentage is incredible. He can actually hit shots on the move, which is very helpful for a Clippers team that sometimes can get a little bit stagnant. You need a 3-point shooter like that who's not just a catch-and-shoot 3-point shooter or pull-up 3-point shooter. Someone who can kind of run around the arc a little bit and give them that little extra juice. So just in that sense, I think Norman Powell has contributed a lot to their offense. Defensively, he is what he is. I mean, he's an older guard. He doesn't have quite that level of motor. He doesn't really have defensive playmaking ball skills, but I mean, he's still a great player, and that's why he's a sixth man, right? We don't want him taking those difficult defensive responsibilities. Let's just have him come off the bench and just fire away.
This is a guy that could be a 20-point-a-game scorer easily as a starter. Like, he has that level of ability. There's no question. So, like, sometimes maybe the counting stats don't jump off the page. Like you said, he's just about 14 points a game. It's a very potent 14 points a game with the efficiency that he's brought, especially this year. Just about 63% true shooting. I think about almost 44% from 3 on 5 attempts per game. So, like, he's one of the most efficient scoring guards in the league, without a doubt, as you kind of outlined, with just from everywhere. And yeah, especially from the corners. That's crazy. I didn't know it was quite like that. But this is a guy that I think he's been one of the more underrated players in the league for a while now. He's been really good for a while. And it's like wherever he goes too, like, you know what I mean? He was really good in Toronto, obviously, and in Portland, and now with the Clippers. Like, he's just one of those guys that you could plug him in anywhere and he's going to get you buckets and he's going to do it efficiently. Yeah, he doesn't hold up quite like he used to on defense, but he's not, a total disaster. I'd say he's below average for sure, to be clear, but he's not, he's got a little bit of size at least. I think he's only listed at 6'3", but he kind of feels a little bigger, always had.
Yeah.
Like if you told me he was 6'5", I wouldn't blink an eye. You guys kind of talked about it, but the efficiency, first of all, is a big part of his case. And then also just the Clippers' success. Like, I think when we're looking at this award this year, and it'll be interesting to see kind of how this conversation goes, but I feel like you almost got to think it's going to go to somebody on a good team. Because there's so many, there's a couple guys on subpar teams that are having really good seasons, but it's like there's so many, or at least like probably the guys we're going to talk about that are on good teams that it's just like that would kind of be the deciding factor. And obviously the Clippers have been really good. Like once you get past that first few weeks of the season or whatever, when they really started clicking, they've been great. And he's been a big part of that. Just having a guy like that is so valuable because he's consistent. You know what you're going to get with him. You know what he's going to bring. He's a professional, big Norm Powell fan here. So I think he's got a really strong case. Like I'd probably have him as a finalist or like right there. You know what I mean? Like he's up there.
The team's success has to factor into this. Mm-hmm. And then even though he doesn't have the raw output, it's just the efficiency. Like he's just getting great shots. He's making his shots. He's leaning into a role that suits him perfectly. He just comes right in and he plugs whatever holes they might have. So, I mean, even with a team with as much high-end talent as the Clippers, they need somebody like a Powell to kind of steady things when guys are hurt or they're on the bench and just need that extra little boost. So that's
he's like perfect. You know what I mean? He's like perfect in that role. Like that he's kind of giving you exactly what you want from that role. And a lot of times like that archetype, like this kind of like bench scoring guard, like they're not going to bring efficiency really. It's certainly not at that level. So for him to be giving them that, and I think he's been extraordinarily valuable and again, just super underrated and not just this season, like for a while now. So it would be cool to see him get that kind of recognition because, I almost feel like he's due with what he's done in the NBA.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for his career, I mean, he has historically always been pretty efficient. Like that's the one fault that you can't really ascribe to him. He's been above 59% true shooting for the last 6 seasons, which is really good. And when you're coming off the bench, you want efficient scoring if you're just going to designate that role to someone and you're not giving it to one of your primary ball handlers. So it's really useful to have someone like that coming off the bench.